as promised, here is my yarn haul from the Summer Wool Festival. Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel of crafting, crochet and knitting. My name is Nikki and welcome to my little yarniverse. Today we're going to be talking about all of the yarny goodness and the not so yarny but still excellent things that I got from the Summer Wool Festival down in Ampthill in Bedfordshire the other week. So I've got a whole bag of things, let's get into it. So why don't we start off with one of the not yarn but still excellent things that I bought from the yarn show. This is just a travel mug. I think it's metallic based on the sound of it, but yes, the image I could not resist, right? We have a yarn filled universe. That is so me. I strongly suspect it is an AI generated image, but it's still got the knitting part right, knitting onto your needles, so I can't complain too much. And like I say, it's so me that I just had to have it. It was really convenient as well because as I went around the different stalls, anytime I got something small, I could just pop it into this travel mug and use it to store things so that I didn't lose anything. And when I bought this travel mug, I actually qualified to use the gumball machine. So I got this from Siobhan's Crafts and I got myself a little stitch marker. So let me get this out so we can take a closer look. Doesn't want to come out. Hang on. There we go. Right. We've got a little lobster claw. So I can use that on knitting or crochet. And then it's just a little sheep. So that's very cute. So that was my little freebie from the gumball machine. And then you did see this in my previous video when I stopped to knit. There were some other little things I got from a different gumball machine from a different vendor further round that were really, really useful. So I won these little knitting markers. I've been wanting knitting markers for a little while now because even though I always say that you can use, got them on the side here, you can use these as knitting markers because you close them and they are a circle, so they can be moved like a marker, but I have to admit they do get a bit in the way. I don't use these for socks because already for socks they're too chunky. I use my little light bulb stitch markers for my socks, but even those feel a bit in the way sometimes. So I was working on, well, I was using my small needles to work on mittens whilst I was at the show, not socks but mittens. And as I was doing that, I realised that I could swap out the light bulb stitch marker for one of these. That's what I did in the video clip and it was so helpful that I will be doing it again. In fact, I think it's actually still in my knitting bag. I was making a baby cardigan not long after I finished the mittens. They're a little small, they only just fit on the 3mm needles, but I think it's still in there, so I should probably check that and go and reclaim it before I lose that. Should I do the rest of these while I'm here, or should I wait? I think I'll wait. I'll come back to these ones, these other things that are in there. So I'll just pop this on the side where I can get to it, and let's start with some yarn. Let's start in this bag. In here I've got the first 2 skeins of yarn that I bought at this show. And these are actually in a bargain bin. I don't know if that's just because they're not exactly the right colours, or if they're just making way for new stock, or they're, I don't know, but here they are. So these are Rosie's Moments. I got this beautiful plum colour. In fact, that is what it's called plum. It's my usual type of yarn, so it is fingering. It's 100 grams. It is 75% superwash extra fine Falkland merino, and then 25% nylon. It even says how wide the nylon is, which is quite cool. So lovely colour. I was really drawn to this, but whilst I was looking I also saw these, and these didn't catch my eye straight away because they're slightly bluer purple, but maybe you can see that they do actually have, sorry, I'm talking over my mouth there, and I like to let people be able to read my lips if they need to. Yeah, sorry, I nearly didn't buy this, or I didn't see it straight away because of the blues, but as I was rummaging I noticed it did have a matching plum, and I thought, oh, I bet these go really well together, so I picked this up as well. And this is, oh, this one just says it's minis. It doesn't have a colour on them, but it's the same material, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So got both of these. They were an absolute steal, and whilst I was there, because I bought these two, I also got a pattern that came with it, and I'll hold it up this way so I don't spoil any of the pattern itself, but it is the Knitted with Love shawl. You can't really see in the pattern really, can you, because it's not printed off in colour, but this is a 2-colour shawl. It's got this really nice pattern. You don't actually start in the middle, so when you see triangles like this you probably think you start there, but you actually start at one end, you work your way across, and it has this lacework, these lacework veins that kind of come through the work as you go, and there is some use of different colours in there, and I think that having all of these minis in the same colour but already wound off into separate sections will help with making that. So that's what I got from that stall. In fact, I'm nearly forgetting, there was one other thing that I got from there that wasn't yarn, and this was something that I went with a vision to buying. I wanted to get hold of one of these, and as I got round to the Rosie's Moments stall, I found one with a pattern on it that I particularly enjoyed, because I saw some that had like sheep and things like that on them, things I've seen quite frequently, but this one, I hope you can see, it's got autumn leaves on. So yeah, really cool, really cool. I think this is meant to be like rain, so the rain on the handle will fall onto the autumn leaves. So this is a yarn ball holder with a strap that I could hold around my wrist. Now I'm a little bit sad that I'm pretty sure this may be leather. I'm really hoping it's just fake leather, because I don't really want leather, but I did really want a yarn ball holder because I would like to start knitting and crocheting as I'm walking. Probably knitting, to be fair, crocheting might be a little bit complicated, but I want to start knitting whilst I'm walking so I can get out the house a little bit more, and this is so cool. And about halfway round I noticed in better lighting that the leaves have got like a back colour painting of more orange over this side and more green over this side. So yes, very happy with my yarn holder. So those are the things I got from Rosie's Moments. Let me pop those back in the bag for now. And then let's go with the other thing that is in this bag. I saw this yarn and I got instant Christmas vibes, but in a really subtle way where this could 100% work in autumn as well. So this is from Belissa Yarns. I hope I'm saying that right. We have got this beautiful burgundy with a beautiful emeraldy, you know, tree sprucey green, and then instead of the really bold white of Christmas, we've got this lovely muted grey. So I think that's going to look lovely. I've got my red and green knitted Christmas socks. If I make something like a cowl out of this or a very small shawl, then I can wear this at Christmas with my socks, or I could just wear it in autumn because I think it would look beautiful in autumn as well. So yes, I think this is one of my favourite colours that I got from the show. In fact, I didn't get that much yarn. I got quite a few non-yarny things, and so actually, yeah, I just think all the yarn I got this time were beautiful colours. This one is also 75% merino, 25% nylon. I have settled into that pattern. I am trying to buy some different types of yarn, but I'm also now thinking about my collection and how do I make projects. If I've got lots of different hand-dyed yarns, that wouldn't work. So I've kind of got quite a few of these 75% merino, 25% nylon blends now, and I just have to make sure that I have the superwash with the superwash and the non-superwash with the non-superwash when I make things. But yes, I don't regret that. I really love this and I'm really excited to work with it. Okay, let's take a short break from the yarn so that I can spread the yarn out across this video and talk about some more of the notions. One of the notions that I happened to buy was in the bag with the last round of yarn, so that's what has spurred this on. And it is a 2.25 10-inch circular needle, so that my husband can have his very own needle for when he is knitting his mittens. So that's for him. And then we've also got some of the remaining things that are in here. So I took the opportunity at a store knitting for fun. It was the store Knitting for Fun, and they just had absolutely loads of needles. Lots of them are Knit Pro, but I don't mind that. Knit Pro is a good way to sort of bulk out needles if you're looking for some that are a bit more on a budget, but also they just had a massive variety. And so I bought for myself some symphony needles. They're also 2.25, but they are teeny tiny double pointed needles. So I typically have got, I've got the standard 6-inch double pointed needles, I've got standard 8-inch double pointed needles. I would really like 7-inch double pointed needles. That seems to be the optimum size for me, and I can't find them anywhere. But I just swap out 6-inch and 8 inches as I need them when I'm going around the sock. So when I get to the gusset, I need to use the longer needles. That's fine. But those are not exactly helpful if one were wanting to knit little teeny tiny baby socks. So I got these because they're so cute, they're so tiny, and I think they would be perfect. I have successfully knit baby socks before, or toddler socks I should say, on my 6-inch DPNs, but I figured that actually it'd be so much easier with some smaller ones. So I've got some 4-inch Symphony DPNs here. They're so cute. Can't even begin to imagine socks so tiny. So I got those. They've been keeping safe inside my mug. And then the other thing that I have in my mug are some more needle stoppers. And I wasn't going to buy needle stoppers at the show again because, like, I've got my sheep, I've got my Highland coos. I probably don't need many more needle stoppers than that, because I do have some other, like, just like little just round needle stoppers for bigger needles. So I was thinking I'm probably fine, but then I saw these and I thought I kind of have to get these. So I got some little Harry Potter ones. So yes, they are so cute and I just have to have them. So yeah, if I'm ever making anything inspired by the knitwear in Harry Potter, because there's so much knitting in Harry Potter, I can pull these out and use these. Okay, I know you have all come to see the yarn, so I'm not going to stop you. I've got another bag right here ready to go of yarn, so let's pull some out. We have got from Under the Olive Tree a Roses at Midnight colourway, which is, you guessed it, 75% merino and 25% nylon. Here it is. Really beautiful purple colourway. It is more on that blue side. There's a little bit of black in there as well, like really dark navy maybe. And I got this specifically because what I was interested in from Under the Olive Tree was actually one of her patterns. And if you bought a pattern, you will also potentially, you could get it in a kit and get yourself a skein of yarn to go with it. So that's what I did. And we have got here the Trail and Blaze shawl. So let me hold this up folded so that you can see it, but also so that the pattern is not visible. There we go. So hopefully you can see that there's this amazing lacework zigzag running through the shawl. So again, a triangular shawl. I really quite like how that looks. I'm pretty sure that this is also worked from one side to the other. So not the standard triangle shawl construction that I've done before, but also at the end of the day, still triangular. Quite like that shape on me. And so yeah, really looking forward to doing this. I think that in this really lovely, like, well, it says Roses at Midnight, but I'm getting, you know, like night sky vibes, definitely midnight vibes, that having something that's called the Trail and Blaze shawl with this lovely zigzagging across it is going to look really starry and quite lovely. So yes, very happy. You know what, I've been looking for a pattern to take with me on my couple of days off, and I think I've decided I'm going to cast this on. The next two pieces of yarn that I've got are from the Crafty Bird. Now, I bought 3 skeins from the Crafty Bird in the past, and all 3 of them were variegated colourways. And then as I have matured in my yarn show endeavours, I realised that I really should have got something that would go with them. I've not been able to find the exact right, well, until recently, I've not been able to find the exact right purple. So here it is, what I think is the right purple anyway. I still need to hold this up against my 2 colours. wish me luck. But this is called Yarnageddon is Nigh, and that is because it's actually inspired by the Good Omens TV show, and so yes, there was a few colours inspired by that. So a bit of a strange name, but it is again superwash merino. This is actually 100% superwash merino. I really think and hope that my other crafty birds were 100% superwash merino. Probably should have checked that. Oops. Oh, this is called Ampthill's Bookshop. I know I've completely butchered that. I don't watch the show. I'm sorry. Ampthill's Bookshop. Sorry, I think Yarn. Is Yarn again? Oh, maybe Yarnageddon is Nigh was like the range. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. But yes, inspired by Good Omens. I just like that the purple colour should hopefully match my variegated yarn, and I'll be able to make something. I think, if I remember rightly, I got 2 skeins that had that sort of purple colour in it, and then 1 skein that was like blue and bronze. And of the 2 that had purple in it, one was slightly greener and yellower, and the other was a little bit more darker tones. So I'm hoping it'll go with both. And because I'm pretty sure that one of the skeins that I did see on the stall was the mid-tone that I got last time, I did measure it up against this and got this tealy. It's much more green in person. It's coming up quite blue on the camera for me. I don't know how it will look on the final podcast, but it's this kind of tealy colour, and it is called Aegean, which makes sense. That's the Aegean Sea. 100% superwash merino. I'm hoping that actually both of these are going to go with those variegated yarns that I've got. Maybe at the end, if I dig out the Crafty Bird variegated yarns in my stash, I'll hold these up to it and put some footage at the end to see how successful we were. Okay, and the final yarn that I bought from this show, I was very good, you see. I only actually bought 6 skeins of yarn. So that was very good for me, wasn't it? 6, sorry, no, did my maths wrong, 7, that's fine. 7 as opposed to like 15. I think that was good. But my final one is a little bit different, and it's because of something that I bought in my previous show that I did not come away prepared to use. I bought some natural dyes, and I had no yarn to use to dye it on. So at this show, at the Summer Wool Festival, I went to the Blots store, and I got an alpaca 4-ply sock yarn. This is 60% superwash merino, 20% superfine alpaca, and 20% nylon, and it's plain, so I still need to dye it, but it is so squishy. I had heard that alpaca was soft, but this is so soft. Merino and alpaca, oh, amazing, amazing. So I really hope that when I dye it, it retains that softness. I hope I don't do something wrong and spoil it, because it's really nice. I only bought 1 skein for now because it's a natural dye. Like, I get to extract the pigment myself, which means I have a little bit more control over it, which means that I can kind of have this sample. I can just do the 1 skein and see how it goes, and then maybe I decide that I don't want to get this one again. Maybe I want to get a different mix. Maybe something about this doesn't absorb that pigment well. So yeah, we're just gonna have a play, we're just gonna have an experiment, so I'm really excited for that. I'm probably going to have to find a pan that I'm happier to use, because the pan I was using is now quite rusty, and I have heard that if you mix rust with some pigments that it can change the colour, and I really want this to be a nice purple colour. And the reason that it should become a purple colour is because at the last show I got myself some logwood, and logwood is supposed to give you a nice purple colour. So at some point in the future, when I have a pan to work with, we're going to have a go at that. What could go wrong? I will record it, don't worry. If I'm going to fail, I'm going to show you how I'm failing, and then if we're succeeding, we can succeed together. So yes, really excited. This has actually got, it says everything to dye up to 250 grams of wool. So there's already, that was only 100 gram skein, so there's already enough to dye more of that. But they were saying that logwood is very reusable, that you can like extract a lot of pigment, so hopefully we might even be able to do a little bit more. We will see. There's a very big packet of logwood in there, so hopefully we'll be able to do a lot with it. And one more thing that I want to show you before I go that wasn't yarn, because as you will have noticed, I was very well behaved. I didn't get too much yarn this time. I was much more selective about what I got because I've got a growing yarn stash behind me. But I realised that I've got all of this yarn and nothing to make with it. Like, there are patterns that I told myself there are patterns online, I can get free patterns online, and I found a few, but actually I just wasn't being inspired by any of the patterns online, and I was looking for some specific things, and I did find some. So I've got a few shawls a few shawls or jumpers that I'm hoping to try at some point, but I'll show you those patterns when I do them. The one I want to show you now is the first one that caught my eye, and I think this will be a really helpful learning experience. So this is from Knitterish Designs, and it's the Mosaic Cal. Yes, I'm trying to read that backwards on my phone camera right now. So I saw this and I thought, wow, first of all, I like the colours anyway, so like that's really bad for me to be just attracted to the colours, because this could have been like green and orange and I would have ignored it, but actually looking at it in purple I'm like, oh, I like that. But I really like how many different mosaic styles there are, and I want to try doing some mosaic knitting, but I didn't really know where to start. I probably could like look for tutorials on YouTube, but I thought this was a great way to support a designer and get something that I can make out of it. It is a pattern for a shawl, which hopefully I'm getting into my shawls. I told myself once upon a time, no, you're absolutely not a shawl knitter, and then the shawls that I've made myself I have been keeping wearing like almost every day. Like, I need some new shawls, so I've got this. But the benefit is that there are 5 different mosaic patterns in here. So we've got the key and basket, the diamond square, the fretted band, the tongue and groove, and the horizontal chain. I can't show you those in this format because the pattern is right next to them, but when I make this up, I'm going to be able to show you what those all look like, and then if you're interested in mosaic patterns, you can go and find them too. So that is everything that I got for myself from the Summer Wool Festival. I'm now going to take my Under the Olive Tree pattern and yarn and get that wound up. I probably need to dig out my yarn ball holder. No, it's yarn cake holder, so that I can take that with me on my little day trips. So I'm really excited. I've been wondering what I should make for myself when I go on these trips. I have got some crochet projects, but they're a bit much to carry and I can't walk around crocheting, so I think that this is the solution. Very excited, and yeah, I'll get that wound up. So the first test is that they are in fact 100% superwash merino. So we've got that right. The next test is how well they go with the new yarn. Okay, we've not had 100% success. This is definitely a nice match, which is what we suspected. It's hard to tell from like that side, but when you turn it over, it's got this nice matching plum. This doesn't quite match. This is a lot lighter than I remember, although is that more a match? No, I think that's still lighter, isn't it? So I think that one didn't quite work out. I mean, they still go quite nicely as a colourway, but I think they go well together and they go less well. So maybe that's not a winner. So the hope was that they would go with the teal. I wasn't expecting this one to match, but actually up here, if I turn this around, that is a match. Or is it more of a match on camera than it is in person? It is more of a match on camera than it is in person. Oh, that hasn't worked. Oops. And then this is also not what I expected. I expected there to be more teal in that, but that's a darker blue as well. So actually this one, I don't think it's been a winner, unfortunately. So we're still out of skeins for these two. We're matching up here though, so that's helpful. That was the main thing I wanted. I can do something with those. I can maybe even put that one in still. We'll have to see how creative I get with the colour. All may not be lost. I might have to check this a bit in other lighting. It looks like it's not a match on camera, but actually, and they're not exactly a match, but there are colours that go quite nicely together. I want to put this between these two to see how it works with some of this slightly lighter colour. But I think these are 50 grams each. This is 100 grams, so there's 300 there in total. I think this is a bigger garment in the making. So there is hope for this skein of yarn that I couldn't match to my others. So thank you for joining me today and enabling me with my shopping endeavours. I hope that you're not disappointed that I came away with half as much as I normally get, but I definitely think that what I bought has set me up for some really enjoyable knitting with my hand-dyed yarn. So hopefully you'll enjoy seeing that on this channel too. Let me know what you have been purchasing recently, what you have been knitting and crocheting recently, and yeah, leave me a comment telling me about that. I can't wait for another video where hopefully I'll be able to show you some of these hand-dyed, handmade items, and I will see you very soon. Bye everyone!